In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine reminder and warner that's in our midst. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jock Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man, a podcast of brothers that desires nothing more than to show you what a striving man of God should be. For we all are family men who love our children. We all are businessmen. We all are youth mentors. And we all work hard in our communities to make it a decent and safe place to live. When putting this podcast together, we decided to govern our actions by three rules. One was to present content to podcasts that can make you a better you. Two was to put God first in all that we do. And three, to showcase brotherhood and unity amongst men that you can be proud of. My name is Brother Abdul Kawi Muhammad. I'll be your host and moderator for tonight. I'm a brother that's very interested in the root of things, the beginning of things, motivations and inspirations. So my questions will be motivated by those loves. And let me introduce you to another host of the Jock Brothers, my brother, born and raised New York City, world traveler, the promoter of the show, the producer of the show, our brother Ahmed B.
Thank you, Brother Kawi. Yes, as you know, my name is Brother Ahmed. We thank you all in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. We thank you all for joining on and taking time out of your busy schedules to join us tonight. We are Jock Brothers. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. 7 p.m. We go live on Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. or 7:30. You can also watch replays of our past. We've been doing this almost 4 years now. We've been doing this a little over 4 years now. So you can watch all of our videos from the past. So much content, so much information, so much inspiration. We all are youth mentors. We work in our community. We are doing things with the youth. We're doing things with our own businesses. We're helping out our family, friends, and neighbors. You can support us by donating any financial to our financial cause by the Cash App at the bottom of the screen, $ Jock Bros, $ Jock Bros, Cash App. You can support all of our endeavors, all of our community events, and also this podcast where we share information, inspiration, and knowledge. Back to you, Brother Kawi.
Praise be to Allah. Let's get into the show. I want to introduce this first guest to you. This brother here has did a remarkable thing that we felt that it was important to get out. He spearheaded it. This is a product of the 10,000 Fearless. That's ran by our national director of the 10,000 Fearless, Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad, who's the Southern Regional Minister of the Nation of Islam. The brother we about to introduce to you is the founder and president of Community Haven, a Chattanooga native, grew up on the west side of town. A Baylor graduate, he earned his Bachelor's of Science in Accounting from UTC. He is the former youth director at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church, a former Boys Club employee and a volunteer at the Carver Recreation Center, who has spent the majority of his adult life mentoring youth. Kevin is a member and local student helper in the Nation of Islam. With his leadership, business acumen, and passion for the community, Mr. Muhammad serves as the executive director for the Community Haven. As executive director, Mr. Muhammad is a visionary and goal-oriented leader. Is responsible for overseeing day-to-day activities, improving performance, developing organizational culture, supervising heads of departments, reporting on revenue, and directing organization strategy, supervises the administration of the partnering programs, oversees workforce development, and oversees the grant compliance and document the implementation of the community phase and or projects. With no further ado, and with a Jock Brothers round of applause, I'd like to introduce you to our top soldier right here, our student helper, Kevin Muhammad.
Thank you for having us, brother. We're really honored that both of you would invite us on your program tonight. We're truly honored and thank you.
Thank
Praise
you for coming, brother. Thank you for coming.
Praise be to Allah. So let's get right into it. First of all, a few years ago, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan put out a call for 10,000 fearless men and women. And I want to present a clip to you with Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan saying such a thing. So give me just a second while I set this up for you.
To bring peace in our own community.
I absolutely wanted to ask you about the responsibility of those in our community.
Well,
How you address that?
we're raising 10,000 fearless. What is their mission? Their mission is to stand in the gap between the guns. No punk could do that. No coward could walk with us and do that. You got to be fearless to walk in between guns of Bloods and Crips and guns of disciples and others killing each other. We love our people. That's our power. No preacher can go into community and stop this. Reverend said to me a few weeks ago, Farrakhan, if I send my deacon out there, he's not going to get no results. But if you send your people out there, the young will listen. Why is that, Reverend? Because we love our people. We don't go to our people with guns. We don't carry guns. No follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is allowed to carry as much as a penknife. We are a people of peace, but we will fight with those who fight with us. So we're going into the community, but we want 10,000, but we got to train you, brothers, because you're filled with self-hatred. And we cannot allow you to deal with our people with a heart filled with self-hatred. But if you come to us, we will train you, we will teach you so that your heart is filled with love for the people that you're going to serve and the people you're going to protect. And after we train you, we go into that community and make peace between our brothers, set up conflict resolution so that our women and children can play again in the streets and our elderly can walk the streets and feel safe. That's what the 10,000 fearless are for. And I believe there'll be 10,000 rising up in practically every major city who want to help bring peace in our community.
So that was the original inspiration from Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Abdul Sharif Muhammad, he heard that cry, that call,
Absolutely.
and he implemented the 10,000 fearless. He started in Atlanta, Georgia, but Brother Kevin Muhammad, student minister in his particular city, Chattanooga, he heard that call as well, and he manifested the words of by the leadership of student minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad in such a way that I thought we had to bring him on the show. So, with no further ado, Brother Kevin Muhammad, take off, soldier.
Well, let me just first say that the Bible talks about in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among men. So we just heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan deliver the Word. It was our regional minister, student regional minister, Abdul Sharif Muhammad, who heard something different than most of us heard. As a former supreme captain of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, remember before he became supreme captain, he was in Washington, D.C. with the Dope Busters. And under the Dope Buster program, at the height of the crack cocaine epidemic in America, where the government flooded the Black community with crack cocaine, it was William Muhammad who led the FOI in Mayfair Mansions, Paradise Mansions, the worst open air drug market in America at the time. And practically overnight, they ridded that community of crack cocaine. Lesson number one, he became supreme captain. And as Minister Farrakhan supreme captain, I once heard the minister say in Atlanta that he graded our brother. And in grading him, he gave him a 99.9%. He said the only reason that he did not give him 100 is because he knew that he had to sleep sometime. He just never caught him. So now this same man who has a track record of hearing the military side of what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is saying, different than many of us heard it. So I can't, first of all, take credit for something that I initially did not hear the way he heard it. It was Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad, who is now the student regional minister in the South, who went to work first, making what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, flesh in Atlanta. He bought a patrol car. I'm peeping it. I'm like, what are you doing with that patrol car, man?
Yeah.
You know how you peeping it. You ain't quite clear of what he's doing, but you're watching it.
Right.
He went into the bluff and he said that they got an abandoned house. And in that abandoned house, they went inside. There were so many roaches in the house that the roaches were saying assalamu alaikum and salute. So they had to rid the place of the roaches and everything that was in that house. But he started to work because he heard the military side, something different. And he set up camp right there in Atlanta in the bluff, which was now the worst open air heroin in America. He began working with a local pastor there in Atlanta, Reverend McDonald. And they went to work ridding that community, feeding the community, clothing the community, and just soldiering in that area to the people and fearlessly showing, hey, we have to do what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us to do. I initially did not hear it the way he heard it. So I can't take credit for starting something that he gets the credit for starting. So Minister Farrakhan saw the work, just like he went in Washington, D.C., when they did it with the crack cocaine. Minister Farrakhan visited Atlanta to see if what he had heard about what Minister Sharif was doing, once again, was altogether true. I was there when the minister visited in Atlanta, and he came by the bluff, and he came by to see the work that Minister Sharif is still currently doing. So now the minister invites Minister Sharif and Reverend McDonald to Mosque Mariam, Chicago, on a Wednesday night at the Believers meeting. He allowed Minister Sharif and Reverend McDonald to come forward to share with the whole nation what they were doing in Atlanta. So now Minister Sharif and McDonald, they share the example that they're doing. And now Minister Farrakhan comes out. And Minister Farrakhan says, I want you to duplicate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're in and out, but come on.
I'm in and out?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good right now. You're good
Okay,
right
I'm
now.
good? Okay.
Yep.
He said, I want you to duplicate. I want you to triplicate. I want you to quadruplicate, quintuplicate what Minister Sharif and Rev McDonald are doing. I want this everywhere. A little slow carrying that out. So now Minister Sharif comes to Chattanooga. He says, brother, you got to start a food bank. Food bank? What? How that's going to do this? You don't see it. So Minister Sharif had one of the sisters in Atlanta, Sister Canetta, called the Chattanooga Food Bank. Get that food bank program going for us. Why? Because just as Minister Farrakhan see something in Minister Sharif saw something, I believe, in your brother. He was a little slow at seeing it at first.
Yes, sir.
So now we set up a food bank in one part of town where we were. It's known as Alton Park, south side of town. And when we set that food bank up, people start coming from everywhere to get the food.
Mm.
We were meeting a need. And now in meeting that need, we started a food bank on the west side of town.
Mm.
East side of town. On the north, we started a food bank on all four sides of Chattanooga, and we became, in the first year, we became the largest food distributor of produce in the Black community in Chattanooga, delivering over 1 million pounds of produce a year. This was before COVID. I'm saying, wait a minute now, you know, I just need to be obedient.
Right, right.
See, because sometimes as men, our egos get in the way.
Mm.
Sometimes as men, we have this God complex about ourselves. We think we know everything, and we have a hard time following another man sometimes. But just as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is successful because he's obedient to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Minister Farrakhan, Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad is successful because he's obedient to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I began to be obedient to the to Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad. How so? I said, "Oh Allah, I must not be seeing my brother right. Oh Allah, what does Minister Farrakhan see in my brother? If Minister Farrakhan say, I give you my best, Minister Sharif. If Minister Farrakhan says he will make captains and ministers all over the... Now, I got to see him as the ministers see him. And now, when I begin to see him and strive to see him as the ministers see him, now, if I'm going to be a helper of Minister Farrakhan and that's his man in the South, now I got to do what his man in the South say do. You with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now in doing that and being obedient, I start following how he set up the 10,000 Fearless in Atlanta. What did he do? He got an abandoned house. Right around the corner from where we were meeting, our study group was meeting, there was an abandoned house. We talked to the owners of that house. What else did he do? He said, get a pastor to partner with you. So right around the corner from our study group, there's a local pastor. We went and talked to him, and now he partnered with us. We got the abandoned house. Now we're being obedient to what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say. Now we're being obedient by following the example of Minister Sharif. Now we're being obedient by doing what Minister Sharif is doing. So now the people allow us to get the house rent-free.
Mm.
Fix it up, get it rent-free. We set up conflict resolution. We partner with the pastor. We had grand openings. And then, there's this patrol car. We went on the radio. We asked the community to help us get a patrol car. We wanted to raise about $1,500 to get our first car. And while we were on the air, a local businessman said, man, I got 1,000.
Wow.
Come by and get it, Brother Muhammad. Man, you know, I'm waiting for that. I mean, this program got to hurry up and get over with, bro. You know how black folk are with that money, boy. You better go get it.
Right.
They'll change their mind or, you know, something came up. So now, after the program was over, I zipped to the brother's place. He pulled out what looked like brand new $20 bills, man, and handed me $1,000 in $20 bills. And then he said, Brother Muhammad, man, that right there, that's some gangster sugar honey iced tea right there, bro.
Mm.
I'm telling you, that right there, what y'all doing, man, you gonna have 2 cars and you're gonna have a fleet of cars, man, because ain't nobody doing that.
Mm.
True enough, by following the example, the local newspaper heard about what we were doing when we got the car and what we were doing with the 10,000 Fearless in the south side of town, which at that time was one of the worst areas in our city. Remember, he said go in the worst areas between the gangs and the guns. So all along what's known as Fagan Street, all along what's known as Doris Street, all in that village area were bloods. When we first came out there, man, they were everywhere. When we set up, man, we made friends with them. We opened up a restaurant called Eat to Live, and we made friends with our brothers. And slowly, that neighborhood began to change because of the example of Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad in making the word flesh of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So this thing went like front page. They put this on the front page of the Sunday edition of our local newspaper. That's big, brother.
Yeah.
Brother, that's big. To be on the front page. They showed a picture of me standing by the car. Then they showed a picture of me inside the car. And they showed the 10,000 Fearless logo on the side of the car on the front page. It was so big that the police chief called.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
And the police chief says, hey, man, there ain't nobody else doing this.
Right.
But us and y'all. We want to give you 2 cars to help y'all do what you're doing. But there were mischief makers who wanted to make it seem like, you know, we were doing something other than what our real motive is. And this is what was interesting about that, brother. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Come on.
I'm not talking too much, Emma.
Oh, no. Do it. Run it.
What was interesting about it is, on a local online newspaper, they did a survey. And the survey read, should the city of Chattanooga give Kevin Muhammad's Nation of Islam 2 patrol cars? Listen to that mischief making. Kevin Muhammad's Nation of Islam. They ain't got no Nation of Islam, man. But that created something in the minds of some of the believers. You know how they work, divide and conquer.
Right.
Something in the mind of, Kevin Muhammad's Nation of Islam. Oh, he's the leader now. Please. And then your so-called nationalist people start saying, you can't take no cars from the police. We ought to raise the money and buy our own car.
Right.
Now, the white community, listen to this. A retired police officer wrote in the paper, editorial, said how dangerous it was for the police department to give the Nation of Islam some cars because he remember he was a police officer in New York when Farrakhan was the minister there.
Wow.
And he remember that when they came to the mosque in New York, that some officers lost their life. And if we gave those cars to them, are we going to be repeating the same thing that happened in New York under Farrakhan?
Wow. That's
This was
deep.
big, brother.
Yeah.
Check this out, a little history on that. The New York Times newspaper, the owner of that Times newspaper, he got his start in Chattanooga.
Mm.
He owned the Chattanooga Times, the very paper that put us on the front page. He left Chattanooga and left his granddaughter in charge of the paper here while he went to New York, bought that paper that was failing and turned it around, and it became the most influential paper in the world, the New York Times, where Farrakhan was. Now this connection now is on their mind. What these Negroes doing
Yeah, right.
down here in Chattanooga? You follow me?
Yes, sir.
So now we say, man, just pull that. Just pull it. Just forget it. Thank you for the offer. We'll go out by God's grace, raise our own money, buy us our own car.
Right.
And as a result of that, we have now, I believe, 6 or 7 cars in our fleet.
Really.
We purchased.
Praise be to Allah.
We
Praise
have
be to
our
Allah.
own public works truck. We have 2 buses. And because of the work that we were doing and following the example of Minister Sharif in Atlanta, Allah blessed us with a piece of property that became available. 5 acres
So let's talk about
that
that.
we're working out of right now.
Right.
I'm gonna pause and let you ask.
No. I want to hear about the 5 acres because that's a fascinating story as well.
So, brother, I'm gonna tell you, man. I had another thought in my mind of something I wanted to do.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay. And the thought that was on my mind, what I wanted to do, it didn't line up with what Allah would have me to do. It didn't line up with what Allah would have me to do as a helper of his servant.
Yes, sir.
So I went to Savior's Day. I forget what year it was. It was Savior's Day 2019. And I went to Savior's Day determined that I would listen to Minister Farrakhan and whatever he would have me to do personally, that's what I would do. And I would give up what I wanted to do. So you say, how does the minister talk to you personally? He talks to all of us personally if we're listening.
Right.
His message is a personal message for all of us if we're listening. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give up this desire of what I want to do. And I'm going to follow what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I believe, is instructing me to do. So when I came back, I went on a local radio show here. And while on that local radio show, a former congressional person, former great politician in this city, walked into the studio. And when she walked into the studio, she thought that it was her Sunday to be on their show. So when she walked into the studio, I happened to have been talking about her on the air. She walked in the studio.
Right.
Now we go to a commercial break. And brother says, Doctor, you're supposed to be on next week, not this week.
Mm.
Oh no, let her come on. I mean, she paid a price in this city for us. She helped to change the city form of government. She was the highest ranking congressional politician in our city. She's done a lot of wonderful things here.
Mm.
And she owned this property that we're on now.
Mm.
And she said, "Oh, no, baby, you keep on talking. I'm enjoying you. I'm just going to sit right here."
Right.
So we kept talking. And after the program was over, I gathered the FOI around and I said, "Let me tell you about Dr. Brown here. Let me tell you about all she's done in this city." And she said, "Oh, hush up. Y'all come here, brothers." And she gathered the brothers around her. And she said, "Let me tell you about this man."
Mm.
When he was a little younger, he gave me some words of advice that saved my political career.
Mm.
And I followed his advice. And I said to her assistant, "You know, I'm the brother that is interested in getting the property." She didn't know that.
Mm.
And she looks over at her and says, "Oh, no." The sister said, "The property's under contract to somebody." Dr. Brown looks at, "Oh, no. I want him to have this property."
Mm.
The next day, we're sitting down, discussing the terms of the negotiation, how we will proceed. And in March 28, 2019, we acquired this property.
That's right.
Wow.
Babe, I'm wondering, what advice did I give to her that saved her political career? I couldn't remember. What did I do?
Mm.
Guess what I did, brother?
Come on now. What you do, bro?
She, by Allah's grace, she was in a very public dispute against another high-ranking person in this city, an activist in this city. It was all in the papers. They were playing it up. It got ugly. I gave her the advice that Minister Farrakhan gave to us about how he handled Rem Jackson. Rem Jackson was running for office, denounced him because of the lesson that he had learned when Brother Malcolm split from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the government of America orchestrated the assassination of Brother Malcolm.
Mm.
I shared that advice with her about how Minister Farrakhan learned, and instead of opening up his mouth, and now they're able to kill two birds with one stone,
Right.
you know, how the minister just rallied everybody behind Rem Jackson and said, "Rem Jackson, he's our champion. Rem Jackson," and he never spoke against Rem Jackson. I shared that advice with her, and it saved her political career.
Mm.
Now, she was paying a debt forward.
Mm.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, once
Wow.
again.
Praise be to Allah.
That's how we got 5 acres of property, brother,
Mm.
because of advice from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because of an example of Student Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad, who, when he started the 10,000 Fearless, he said, "Get a 501c3 to operate the 10,000 Fearless under." So when they were trying to give us the police cars, none of the black people organizations in the city of Chattanooga would allow us to use their 501c3. They were scared
Mm.
because of their involvement with the Nation of Islam.
Mm.
So we started out of the ministry class. We sat in the ministry class and we came up with the name Community Haven.
Mm.
From the ministry class, we got it incorporated. And then we put the 10,000 Fearless under the Community Haven. So when this property became available, you could only transfer this property to another 501c3.
Mm.
And God had blessed us just a few months before that to be chartered by the IRS as a 501c3.
Wow.
Praise be to Allah.
Wow.
And nothing but miracles, brother. Nothing but blessings. Excuse me. Blessings. Blessings. Yes,
tell
sir.
them how you fixed it up, brother Kev. I like that story, man. How the building was full of rats. And so how you get the funding to fix it up?
You know, it's something when you have examples before you and you follow them. So, brother, we didn't have any money. So when we got the building, the property had laid dormant for about 15 years.
Mm.
They had stolen all the air conditioning heat systems. They had stolen all the plumbing. They had stolen all of the electrical out of the building. The property had overgrowth everywhere. You couldn't even navigate your way hardly through the property. There were dead coyotes on the property.
Mm.
We didn't even know that there were sidewalks because they were covered. We didn't even know that there were other buildings back here because they were covered.
The weeds.
Disrepair, weeds everywhere, trees everywhere, bushes everywhere. And our administrative building, I think you have a picture of that.
Oh yes, sir, I do.
It was rat infested. That's the administrative building. It was rat infested.
Mm.
The exterminator said that she estimated there were probably about 300 rats in there.
Mm.
So we couldn't even go in it. She came in and treated it, and she came back 2 weeks later. One of them darn hazmat suits on, man.
Mm.
Because she just knew that when she went in that property, that she was going to find dead rats everywhere. She said, look, I don't want you all to think that I'm a religious fanatic, but I am a Christian woman. She said, I was scared to go in that house. She said, so last night I was up praying all night. And I was asking God, when I get in that house, let them rats be gone. I don't want to go in there and get all them rats out of there. She opened the door with that hazmat on, thinking she now is going to see all kind of, there wasn't not one dead rat in that building.
Mm.
Not a one.
They had moved on.
They had moved on. They had moved on.
Right.
And we started remodeling that building first as our administrative building. I went to a local bank. And I brought the vice president of the bank down here. And the vice president of the bank, I asked him to give me a line of credit for $100,000. And my credit was worthy of that. My income at the time was worthy of that. And he said, I'm talking to the president. I think we can do this.
Mm.
So now him and the president comes down. And the president starts looking over the property. And he and the vice president, they go back. And the vice president calls me back. He says, look, the president says we can loan you this money, but he met with the board. And they said that you would have to put the property up as collateral.
Mm.
I said, no, thank you. We're not going to do that.
Right.
Not for $100,000. And my credit is worthy of a line of credit. They wanted the property, brother.
Mm.
They knew that all they took was for me default on the payment.
Right.
And then they could take this 5 acres of property because they wanted this piece of property as the inroad to gentrify the neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
But Dr. Brown wanted it to stay in black hands.
Mm.
Because this area that we're in was all black town. Property used to be a black Catholic school. It turned into a work release center. Now, here we were going to transform it back into a productive piece of property to make it a decent and safe place for our people. and begin that process of resurrection for our people. So I said, no, thank you.
Mm.
So how did we fund it, brother? Well, I took out credit cards.
Mm.
I got Home Depot credit cards.
Right.
I got Lowe's credit cards. I got Northern Tool credit cards. I got Best Buy credit cards. I got Capital One, gold, platinum, whatever they had. And I took out them credit cards, brother, high interest credit cards.
Mm.
Took out the line of credits on them. Began to remodel this place.
Yes, sir.
Emptied, my wife and I, we emptied our savings account. Put it in this. Clear the land, to remodel the building. We took out a second mortgage on our house
Mm.
in order to rehab the administrative office in the pavilion, clear the land, buy some more cars. We invested in this.
Yes, sir.
That's the example that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan laid before us when he rebuilt the Nation of Islam and started the Nation of Islam. He started it in his basement with the final call, taking out mortgages on his house, going to college universities, taking care of his family, taking the rest of his honorarium to buy banned books, How to Eat to Live, Fall of America. To the black man. Following in those footsteps, not knowing it as I know it now at the time, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice if that's what it takes to be a helper of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and follow the example of our brother, Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad.
Mm.
Yes,
And we went to work.
Yes, sir.
When the government of America, because of COVID and the coronavirus, under the Biden administration, put what's known as ARPA funds out in every state, in every city in America, American relief money.
Right.
They put $30 million in Chattanooga. And the purpose of that $30 million was supposed to go to those areas that were affected disproportionately as a result of COVID.
Mm.
For $5 million. They wouldn't give us 5. They figured we could get something.
Right.
And they gave us 1.
Praise be to Allah.
And we got $1 million.
Come on, man. Come on.
And there are some black people who would say, Brother Kevin Muhammad, what happened to you? You sold out. You took money from the city. Shut up. Minister Farrakhan said, I'm going to take money from the government of America. He said he was going to take money from them because they owe it to us. They are obligated to help us to rebuild our cities and rebuild the black man and the black woman. He said in the Torchlight for America that the government spends billions of dollars on all these other programs. And here we have a dope buster program. You should fund what we are doing.
That's right.
We deserve that. And we didn't sell out nothing because we are operating under the program of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as given to us through the example of Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad.
that's right.
So we took
Man.
that money and we began to build a greater infrastructure here. Multi-purpose building. We have training for young people.
Mm.
Taken over 100 young people during the summer through our training program. And during that training program, they learn how to get a job, how to start their own business. They learn resumes. They learn how to dress. And all of them, when they complete that class, we've given all of them $300 we put in their pocket to open up their own bank account.
Mm.
We've hired over 20 of them doing summer jobs. And doing those summer jobs, they earned up to $2,000 in 2 months. training that we give them here. We put money in black contractors.
Mm.
Can't qualify for all these city jobs or these federal jobs because they have all these bond requirements that they have to do. They've been here as the electricians. They've been here as the plumbers. They've been here as carpenters. We've had Hispanics here who have been doing concrete work, who couldn't get these type of contracts anywhere else. We've serviced in the first year over 7,000 people have been affected by that $1 million.
Mm.
God blessed us to receive as a result of what we've been doing. In the first year, in this area where we are, by God's grace, crime was reduced by 12%.
Mm. Right, right.
And as a result of that, the city renewed us again with another 750,000 because they saw the effectiveness of the program of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, followed out Regional Minister Abdul Sharif Muhammad.
Praise be to Allah. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow. Any
What a
questions you
story.
got from Ak? Because Ak man has some questions for you regarding his
Yes, sir. Let me adjust my theme here. Got a little notice come up on my screen. All right, we're good.
Do you want me to go down the buildings? Do you have a question, Ahmed?
Well, you know, I was just listening to his triumphs. Is there anything that you could say? Because I'm also working with a 501c3, and I know other brothers that are getting theirs off the ground. Would you have anything to say to us to help us get through some of the red tape and triumph or pushbacks that we may get?
Oh, absolutely. The first thing I would say, brother, is connect with your regional minister, Abdul Sharif Muhammad. Share with him what it is you're looking at doing. This man has sat under the Honorable Minister, was personally trained by him. I can't pick up the phone and call Minister Farrakhan, but I can pick up the phone and call my brother. Share it with him, listen to his advice, and then strive to follow it. You have to put the work in.
Yes, sir.
The work has to be put in. See, I'm not talking out of a vacuum, brother. We've been doing this work for 35 years. We just didn't start this as a 501c3 trying to get some money. We've been hitting these streets for a long time, brother.
Yes, sir.
We've been out here fighting for our people for a long time, brother. We've been outside of the walls of the study group and the mosque for a long time, brother. So we can't just stay within the walls of the study group and the mosque to a captive audience. We got to put these teachers out in the streets where our people are, man. The minister said the work is out in the streets. So we got to try our religion now. We got to try our faith out in the streets. So faith without works is dead, man. We can do all the legal stuff we want to, brother. I'm not any disrespect, but I'm saying we can do all the legalities we want to. But unless we got some work to back it up, it's a piece of paper, man. So we weren't looking for nothing from nobody. We got up, as the teachers on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and do something for yourself.
Yes, sir.
Doing something for ourselves, then we believe we qualified for help. They were duty bound to help us because we were helping ourselves. I'm going to tell you, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Farrakhan said, white people will help you.
Right.
They see you helping yourself. Too often, we go with our hat in our hand, begging them for something. We can't be beggars. We come at a. I'm gonna tell you, my brothers can bear witness. When they gave us the $1 million, and Student Minister Abdul Sharik Muhammad was with me, the chief of staff for the mayor, down at the mayor's office, he wanted us to go out in the community and chase individual brothers who were doing shootings. He tried to do a bait and switch on me.
Mm.
He gave us the money, our signature is on the contract. Now he gonna tell me what he want us to do for him. Go chase the shooters. The hell we are. We ain't going out here chasing no shooters. We
Right.
can't stop nobody from getting in their car, going to shoot. Now, what you want is that you want us to help you clean up your image in this city because it's a tourist city. And now, since you made national news with the shootings that have taken place, and now you're afraid that it's going to injure your economy and people are going to stop coming in here to come to your tourist city. Hell no. We are in this to resurrect our people. We in this to help our people. And if that is not what you want us to do, if you're not going to honor that, you can take this damn $1 million and shove it where you know you can shove it at.
Yes, sir.
Not your punk. Look back at us. I'm not lying. The Minister Abdul Sharik Muhammad will bear you witness because he was right at the table with us when we said it.
Yes, sir.
He said, "Oh no, Mr. Muhammad, we'll honor it." But guess what? That chief of staff ain't even in the city no more.
Mm.
He gone. And here we are still working. Why? Because we know that those offices change all the time.
That's right.
Those mayors change all the time. But we still here. We've been
That's right.
through 6 or 7 mayors. We still remain the same. So I would say, brother, just be obedient.
Yes, sir.
The advice that you get from the man that God has given to us as our student helper of his and Minister Abdul Sharik Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Kawhi, you wanted to show
Remember-
some of those?
Click this again, brother, and you may need to plug my phone up because it looks like my battery's going a little low here. It looks like it's on about 10%.
Okay, so we can
We're just gonna plug it up and speed it up, and we good.
Okay, what I'm about to do, Brother Kev Muhammad, I want you to I want to show the buildings on the complex, what they for. Tell them a little story about what it was, the condition it was when you got them. So this is what I have right here.
That's the school. That used to be what was called St. Francis School. It was a Black Catholic school. And then, unfortunately, they turned into a work release center, and it was a prison. So we have not remodeled that building yet. That building, they stole probably 10 air conditioning units off the top. All the plumbing's gone. All the electrical's gone. In fact, that's the last building. There's about 8 buildings where we put new buildings on here. But when we got it, there was about 8 buildings. And that is the last building that we're going to look at doing. Everything else has been remodeled here by the grace of Allah for the last 3 years. We've been working, but that's the last one. That one's going to take probably about $2 million or more to rehab that building. And we want that building to be our school and our resource center.
Okay, yes, sir.
That is when you first come onto the property. You know, there's a lot of shooting and killings that's going on in America. So we have a gate around our property, and that building you see there is our search area. So that everybody who comes on the property, they go through that in order to be searched. Every event we have, everybody that comes on our property, they go through that to be searched first. That is when you first walk into our courtyard. When we first got that property, you couldn't even see that. None of that was even visible. Some of those buildings weren't even there. We just put that one building up. It's a building up. It's a 3,000 square foot pavilion. There's probably going to be another shot that you can see closer in that. And that is for the purpose of having concerts, family reunions, class reunions, different types of gatherings that we'll have underneath that.
I'm trying to find that other picture for you. I can't see it well. Let me see. that it?
That's okay. We just click through. We'll get to it. That's a side view of that pavilion. We just sold out a concert on that. Our grand opening. We had some local entertainers come here, man. Nothing but good, clean jazz music and African music. And we got sponsored, man. We put a stage under it. That thing will hold about 350 people just seating. But we put chairs and tables and everything under it, and we had a wonderful time. That is our administrative office. That's another shot of the pavilion. That's the frontal shot of the pavilion. You see where we got the concrete on it? And also that building as well can be used during disaster purposes, where we could put tarps on those on those sides. It's open air. We put tarps on that side, and we could be able to house people underneath there if so needed.
Yes, sir.
That is our bounce park area. That's our restroom, our concession stand, and that's our office for our bounce park. We have a bounce park. It's called Bouncy Park. We are the only outdoor inflatable bounce park in the state of Tennessee. In fact, we are licensed by the state of Tennessee as an amusement park. Just as Six Flags or other amusement parks are licensed, we're licensed. We have over 20-something bounce houses. We have a water park. We have regular dry slides. We have a pavilion where people can come under and have their birthday parties, and children can just come out and have fun. That's our multi-purpose building. As a matter of fact, we had a fashion show on there. Atlanta came down, and we had a fashion show underneath that. That's also where we do our training. That can be rented out for birthday parties, baby showers. It's got to the left of it a kitchenette where you can, have your own catering. And also in that building is where we're located right now, where we have our podcast studio. That's our meeting hall. That's where we have our study group meetings. That's where we have conferences. That's where we have also different types of training in there as well. That's our pavilion. That was the second building we opened. It's open air. And it was open air because during COVID, we were still able to function and have our meetings because we were practically outside because we screened it in. Workshops, martial arts classes, birthday parties. We got a concession area in there as well. On the back side of it, we got a half-court basketball court, pickleball court on the back of that. That's our library. We dedicated our library about a month or so ago. We partnered with a brother his mother was big on education, and he partnered with us and bought over 1,500 Black author books that we put in there. We have chess games. We have tutoring. We put a deck on it, and that's just our library where you can come in, and a lot of the history of Black people are in that library.
Right.
That's our greenhouse and our raised bed garden, but we utilized that. We grew squash, zucchini, tomatoes, cucumbers, cantaloupe, okra, green beans, and we, help feed ourselves, and we give a lot of it away to the community as well.
Praise be to Allah. I think we covered everything, Brother Cap. I was trying to read the comments, but I can't seem to. Somebody asked about a Friday night study group.
Absolutely. Friday night study group, 7:30.
Yes,
7:30, we have that in our administrative building. We have our Sunday meetings in the meeting hall.
Have you started to employ people in the community, Brother Kevin?
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, we employed young people, during the summer. We also have employed people through our 10,000 Fearless. I think during the height of the summer, we have up to, when we include our young people during the height of the summer, we've had up to 30 people on payroll at a time.
How are people able to contact you?
They can contact us through communityhavenchattanooga.org. That's communityhavenchattanooga.org, 423-206-2866. communityhavenchattanooga.org. It's long. communityhavenchattanooga.org, 423-206-2866.
I think I got it. Let me see. Add the banner.
And we're located at, that's it. And we're located at 815 North Hickory Street. 815 North Hickory Street. Here's an important part that I want to make sure I share. Community Haven is an outreach of the ministry of the local Muhammad study group. Just as churches have auxiliary committees and all these other things that they do, we organize this in a way to where it grew out of our ministry class, and it's our way of going out into the community. It's its own separate legal entity as a 501c3.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Brother Kev, I really appreciate you coming on to the show, giving us this. This is just a testament of what hard work can do for anybody that put their mind to whatever they're trying to do. And it's also a testament to when you have strong leadership, if you just listen to them and take their directives, what you could do. So this is a section of Jock Brother. We have the final words. I want you to take the honors of giving us your final words. What you want to leave us with, brother?
Well, I would say continue to strive to be obedient to God's man in our midst today, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Follow his guidance. Obey what he is instructing us to obey. And also follow the example of those that he has put in front of us as his helpers. Our student minister, Abdul Sharif Muhammad, is a good example of one who was raised up by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We should follow his example, and they will lead us to success.
Beautiful, beautiful. Ahmed, final words.
Oh, thank you, brother Kevin, for coming on and accepting our invitation. Your testimony, your guidance, it was inspiring. It's really motivating as well to help us reignite that fire to get out here and do the work, that we're doing, that we've been doing. Just to see examples like yours is just inspiring to know that you continue to work, you continue to get blessings, and they come in all different ways. But your experience was very inspirational. Thank you, brother.
Praise be to Allah, brother. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Brother Kevin, I really think this is an example for every city in the United States of America. Anywhere they have a Muhammad mosque or study group, this blueprint right here, the way you put this together, I mean, you really laid it out in simplistic form, like childlike simplicity. You just, man, you made me think I can go out there and do it. I mean, that's how
you can do it, brother. Absolutely. We
Yes,
can
sir.
do all things through Christ Jesus, who strengthens us, and we
That's
know
right.
who the Christ is.
Yes, sir.
That's right. And so now what you've done is phenomenal. I had a chance to see it up close and personal. I was fascinated with what we can be, what we will be. And I just want you to keep doing what you're doing. Keep telling this story the way you tell this story, with the passion. Keep working the hard as you're working. I can't wait for your next endeavors, your next projects. And I can't wait to get that building to get finished, because I've seen that building. And it's huge. I think it should be some living quarters for brothers that need a place to live, or for incoming guests, from out of town. That's just what I thought. But now you do what you do, man. It's working. So thank you for coming to our show, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. I have no other announcements, Ahmed. Like Brother Jackie. By the way, we have a third job, brother Jackie Muhammad. He sends you the greetings, and he always like to end shows that end well with another one.